Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. Two of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We are only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force, not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
On the news, Lagos residents celebrate Easter holiday without fanfare, blame high cost of living for low-key celebrations. Bishop of Sokoto Diocese Matthew Kuka sets security agenda for President-elect. And Vice President Yemi Osinbajo extols late Justice Bola Ajibola, says ex-AGF's passion for education led him to sell homes to establish universities. Hello and welcome to News Now on TV360 Nigeria. I am Simisola Adigun. Christians in Nigeria are known to commemorate Easter with colorful clothing, music and festivities. However, the celebration, which is one of the most important occasions in the Christian calendar, takes a different toll this year as people carried on with their daily activities while traders decried low sales. Our correspondent Tamilore Akinkule has more details in this report.
Easter season is usually a time to celebrate with family and friends, but this year the mood is far from festive. The Ikeja City Mall, one of the many fun parts in Lagos, is devoid of the usual excited crowd it is known for at this time of the year. Residents attributed the low turnout to high price of goods and services, which has been made worse by the negative effects of the cashless policy.
Yesterday I went out with few friends. We visited some few restaurants, then we hung out together. It was fun. This year was more boring. We had to cut funds because of the cashless economy. So some of the things we usually do during this period, we had to cut the way we do it.
As of last year, there was a lot of celebration, but compared to this year, you see, even when you look around, you see that how everywhere is looking scanty. But compared to last year, if you come around this place, you see how chubby and everyone, there was no space around here. But you can see the difference is even clear.
I spent it most with family and also friends. The family are quite far away, but I had the opportunity to discuss with them, speak with them over long, and I also visited a friend and I had time with the family. So it was quite a good one for me, at least off work. Okay, last year I think I was 7, so I was not really around. But now it's an opportunity for me to blend and mix with friends and family after a long while. So it's Easter gave me that opportunity.
The atmosphere at the Ojojo market wasn't any different. The market was mostly scanty, while most shops were locked. For traders who displayed their wares for sales, patronage is low. They lament that even with a few buyers, the high cost of food items was discouraging for customers.
Everything is okay. Easter sale is too dull, but we thank God for life for today. Well, now because of this changing of money, now it costs some. If not, Easter service began to move, but because of the changing of money, POS, transfer and this, that is why.
Easter, although the country is hard, you know it's in the for country. Everybody have been fighting to get the cash, but we thank God that the cash is out. At least sales have been picking up, although it was bad before, but within this Easter time, everything released and we sell.
And there's no market. The federal government and state government, they don't even take care of the masses. We masses, there's market is not moving. Things are very dull. We don't gain anything from them. They are deceiving us. Please, you will tell them to help we masses to produce money, to bring money out from the bank. People are suffering.
Since the implementation of the cashless policy, things seem to have taken a new turn, inclusive of the Easter celebrations in Nigeria. Traders struggle to make sales every day, and people stay indoors disregarding the family bonding time that comes with the Easter holiday. With the hope that things get better next year, Nigerians have concluded that this year's Easter celebration is not one of the best in a long while. Tamilore Akikole reporting for TV360 Nigeria.
The Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, Bishop Matthew Kuka, has asked the incoming administration of Bola Tinubu to address the security challenges in the country. In his Easter message, the Catholic priest called on Nigerians to rise and reclaim their country from the clutches of the current administration. The bishop spoke about the challenges Nigerians have faced in the past years, including failure of the electoral system, hate speech against imaginary enemies, and corruption, among others. He also highlighted failure of the political class to address these issues and provide solutions that would improve the lives of Nigerians.
I am hopeful that you will appreciate that the most urgent task facing our nation is not infrastructure or the usual cheap talk about dividends of democracy. These are important, but first, your challenge must be to keep us alive, to end banditry, because only the living can enjoy infrastructure. For now, the most urgent mission that you have as the President of Nigeria is to start a psychological journey of making Nigerians who have been wounded and fractured to feel whole again, of creating a large stand of opportunity and hope for us as citizens of Nigeria.
Members of the St. Francis Catholic Church in Owo, Ondo State have defied all fear to attend Easter Sunday service. In the same church 10 months ago, worshippers were killed in a deadly attack by gunmen. At the reopening, the Catholic Bishop of Ondo Diocese, the Most Reverend Jude Arogundade, lamented the growing level of insecurity in the country. Arogundade also appealed to the government to ensure that the attackers were brought to book to serve as a deterrent to others. During the attack on June 5, 2022, the assailants disguised themselves as worshippers, maiming both old and young worshippers. Now, to speak more on the Ondo massacre of June 5, 2022, Father Ume Francis, the parish priest at St. Patrick Catholic Church, Ondo State, joins me now. Many thanks for joining me. Now, one can only imagine what was going through the minds of the worshippers as they walked through the church. Now, has the community healed from the scars of that massacre?
Yeah, the healing is gradual anyway. They are still going through it. The massacre is still written in the faces of the people. Of course, the mass shooting, the bombing, is something that can never leave the mind of the people. But even before, after the massacre, 2 months after the massacre, people there that have been asking us, that is the priest, the bishop, they have been eager to go back to their church for worship. The church presently is under renovation. Yesterday was the celebration of Easter. The bishop and the priest, the religious, went there to celebrate the mass there as part of the reopening of the church and the rededication and the consecration of the church. I'm leading the Paschal candle into the church, representing Christ. and the people entering the church back with the Paschal candle representing Christ, meaning Christ, the resurrection. Of course, I'm giving the entire people of the hope and assurance that even when things were bad, the massacre and everything, the church can still come back to light. And that was what we celebrated yesterday, celebrating Easter with the reopening of the church. It's still part of the celebration anyway. It's still part of the reopening. We still have other celebrations for us to reopen the church properly for proper worship.
Now, we've not really heard much about the arrested killers, but as a member of the community, what would you have expected from the federal government as regards bringing the perpetrators to justice?
Of course, the perpetrators, the government that have been doing the last information we heard from them was they are working on it to make sure these perpetrators are brought to book. But till now, they're still working on it. Of course, they have been, should I say, they've done their own part as a people. And we as a community, as a church, in our own part, we have made sure CCTV camera is installed in all parishes here to make sure things everywhere is properly secured. And our people also need to be security conscious. Because the government they have been promising, they have been telling us, yes, these people will be brought to book. It's over 10 months now. And since then till now, we've not heard anything, no information about the people who perpetrated this act. We have not heard anything about any arrests, and it's alarming in a country like this where a civilized country where things ought to be done properly in terms of security and securing the lives of the people, and nothing is done. Just the government have been telling us we are working on it, we are working on it, we are working on it. But our Lord Jesus Christ is our chief security, and we keep hoping that He will continue securing us just the way we celebrated Easter with Him. And the church was also opened yesterday, making the people and the congregation partake in the liturgical worship. But we keep hoping that the government is still working, and one day these perpetrators or those who did this wicked acts will be brought to book.
And we also continue to pray for the repose of the souls of those who lost their lives in the unfortunate incident. Father Ume Francis, parish priest at St. Patrick Catholic Church, Ondo State, thank you very much for speaking to us. Moving on, Vice President Yemi Osinbajo has described the late Bola Ajibola as a humanist who contributed immensely to education development of the country, among other achievements. In his condolence speech, while the remains of the former Minister of Justice and Attorney General of Nigeria, Bola Ajibola, was committed to Mother Earth, according to Islamic rites at his Islamic Movement for Africa Center in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, Osinbajo said the deceased will be greatly missed. Dignitaries who joined the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, and wife, Dolapo, include former President Olusegun Obasanjo, the Ogun State Deputy Governor Noimot Salako Oyedele, the former Governor Olusegun Shoba, among others.
Our prayer is that Almighty Allah accepts all his good deeds, especially in the field of education, as Hetul Jahariya for him. May Almighty Allah overlook his shortcomings, and may Almighty Allah accept his good deeds and grant him Al-Jannah Firdaus.
One must say about the former judge of the World Court, former president of the Bar Association, former Attorney General, former, at some time, an international arbitrator, one of the very earliest and the most distinguished international arbitrator. He was also an ambassador to the Court of St. James in the United Kingdom. Here was a man who I first met him when I was about 28 years old or 29 years old, when he appointed me a special advisor to him. At the time, he was Federal Attorney General, and I worked with him from that time for about 5 years. I think something that he demonstrated even while I worked with him was a belief in this nation, a belief in our country as a united nation. But more importantly, that one could serve in the public domain with integrity, with altruism, and he demonstrated it throughout his life.
To politics matters now, the Senate has set the Budget Office of the Federation to refund the sum of 19 billion naira the agency disbursed to 4 unnamed ministries, departments and agencies without the approval of the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning. The Senate had last October commenced an investigation into the alleged illegal payment of 19 billion naira to 4 unnamed federal agencies by the Budget Office. The query is in the 2016 report of the Auditor General of the Federation, which was submitted to the Senate for consideration. We'll take a break here, but still to come, Nigeria's debt servicing rises to 3.36 trillion naira. We'll bring you details of the story and more right after this break.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. 2 of us.
Thank you very much, officer. It's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, so...
Oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We are only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came up with this one? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Now here's a recap of some of our top stories tonight. The Catholic Bishop of Sokoto, Bishop Matthew Kuka, has asked the incoming administration of Bola Tinubu to address the security challenges in the country. In his Easter message, the Catholic priest called on Nigerians to rise and reclaim their country from the clutches of the current administration. The bishop also spoke about the challenges Nigerians have faced in the past years, including failure of the electoral system, hate speech against imaginary enemies, and corruption, among others. Well, in case you missed any of our news bulletins, for more updates, you can catch us on Limex World TV or log on to our website on www.tv360nigeria.com. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at TV360 Nigeria. On Facebook, we're at TV360 Online. India's federal government has asked states to identify emergency hotspots and ramp up testing for COVID-19 after the country recorded its highest daily case count since September. According to the Federal Health Ministry on Friday, there were 6,050 new cases of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours, continuing a sharp upward trend since a lull last year. At a meeting to review the degree to which the states are prepared, the health minister asked the governors to ramp up genome testing and conduct mock drills in hospitals. China has accused the World Health Organization of politicizing the search for the origins of COVID-19 after it criticized the country over a lack of transparency. Defending their search for the source of the COVID-19 virus, Chinese health officials hit out at the WHO after the Global Health Body's Director General said Beijing should have shared genetic information earlier. He accused the WHO of attempting to smear China and said it should avoid helping others politicize COVID-19. We'll take another break now and return with more stories. To stay with us.
Opinions are free, facts are sacred, but truth is universal.
How, in practical terms, can we, for instance, de-escalate the tension?
President must see himself as the President of the Federal Republic.
We know where the enemy is. 3 places. The Lake Chad Basin, the border area between Nigeria and Cameroon, and then the Sambisa Forest.
On TV360, we give you a complete dose of everything. Opinion, facts, and undiluted truth.
I hardly believe what politicians say in this part of the world.
A new Nigeria is possible, a future is possible.
We delve into the issues, dissect it so that you can understand it, and use it to take action.
I don't think there's any need for any governor to look for grant for ranching.
TV360, dissecting the issues.
Corruption not in my country.
Hello? Yeah, I found your wallet in front of a supermarket. Meet me at Apple Junction. Yes, I'll be waiting for you.
Now we find out. 2 of us.
Thank you very much, officer. You know, it's surprising that men like you still exist in the police force.
Yes, oh, yes.
This is just a token of my appreciation.
Oh, no, you don't need to do this. We're only doing our job.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
You're welcome.
Now I know police is really my friend.
Yes.
Friend. Hey. Okay, which came up with this one now? I don't understand.
You know your problem. You are greedy. I'm a policeman who is doing his job. All forms of corruption in the force. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. Let's now join Folashade Ogurinde for more stories in business. Over to you now, Folashade.
Well, many thanks, Simi. Data from the Debt Management Office DMO has shown that Nigeria's debt service increased by 14.68% to 3.36 trillion naira in 2022 as against 2.93 trillion naira spent in the previous year. The latest DMO figure revealed that Nigeria's total debt stock, both external and domestic debt, in 2022 increased to 46.25 trillion naira in December. A breakdown of the figure showed that the country spent 1.07 trillion naira to service its external debt last year. The federal government said it would enforce the latest policy by Google barring loan apps on Play Store to access their users' contacts or photos from May the 31st, 2023. It said the action was consistent with the Nigerian authorities' move to curtail the invasion of customers' privacy by loan app firms. The federal government had in recent time taken major decisions aimed at tackling the violation of customers' privacy by loan apps. Google, in its April 2023 policy updates, said the new policy update would provide respite for loan app users in Nigeria and other places that have become accustomed to crude loan retrieval methods employed by a majority of loan apps. And that's it on business news. Back to you, Simi, for the rest of the news.
Thank you, Falashade, for that update. And on the global scene, the Chinese government says a U.S. Navy destroyer sailed near one of its most important man-made islands on the South China Sea on Monday. While the United States frequently makes such voyages to challenge China and other states' territorial claims in the strategic waterway, the latest one took place as Beijing staged more war games around Taiwan. The U.S. Navy's 7th Fleet said the USS Milius engaged in normal operations within 12 nautical miles of Mischief Reef in the Spratly Islands, once a reef submerged at high tide and where China has built an airport and other facilities. And in sports, Nigerians woke up on Sunday to the cheering news of Israel Adesanya's victory against his fiercest rival, Alex Pereira, in the UFC 287. Easy, the style bender, as he is popularly called, knocked out the Brazilian in the second round to reclaim his belt and the title of undisputed champion in the middleweight division. The two have fought 4 times in the last 7 years, and Adesanya has been in the shadows of the Brazilian since 2017, when they first met in a kickboxing bout, causing the Nigerian to describe his victory over Pereira as a sweet revenge.
As a Nigerian, I'm happy because the last time that he lost his belt, I was kind of not happy about it because Joshua lost, Kamaru lost, and him also losing his belt as a Nigerian. You know, if we don't really have lots of Nigerians in that area, so they feel that we have there, if they lose their belt, which is what they have fought for, like the Israel Adesanya, they didn't just throw him down there, he walked his way down to that place. So losing his belt at that point, I was mad. Then the last fight that he just fought with Alex Pereira, I was very happy that he came out and he won the fight.
He made everybody proud, and I'm happy for him. And it's also him coming back from a loss. So after the loss, he came back stronger and he won. And even in one of his videos I saw, he said something about him being very happy and being very proud of the moment. That even if you fall, you can always fight back to rise again. So that's the story from sportsmanship.
It was awesome. I was so happy. It was something expected of him. You know, the last fight with the same guy, he lost. I wasn't quite all right. But this particular one, I know that victory is ours. So I'm proud of him.
There are a lot of other boxers in that lane that have won champions, but now he's on the record that, oh yeah, he performed well, and there are going to be other opportunities for him to also do the needful by working harder.
Well, that's our bulletin this evening. Thank you for watching. I'm Simisola Atikun. Bye for now.